There you go. Hey there, friends. Hey there. Welcome to the sinking ship that is this channel where every day we'll just find new ways to find new lows. That's kind of the vibe here. As I've mentioned, I want to stream every day in October, which so far, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that promise. I might end up just pulling out like the Jericho 120 that I keep mentioning in every one of these streams. It makes me feel like I'm smoking e-cigarettes inside of my bed in the dark. It makes me feel that way, right? It makes me feel like I'm smoking e-cigarettes in my bed. Um,
in a dark room and smoke my e-cigarette and just think about everything horrible that's ever happened in my life. I lay in a dark room and smoke my e-cigarette and just think about
that's me. That's me every day. I lay in my dark room smoking my e-cigarettes every day as I contemplate life. I love all these anti-vape commercials that are essentially done and pushed by what are cigarette companies, right? And now cigarettes have made a full comeback. Cigarettes are cool now, which is at least making me feel a little bit back like the 90s. But welcome to the live stream. I'm promising that I'm doing these at least until I get bored of them, which my patience is running thin. We have some action-packed topics that we're going to talk about today. I'm a little bit sweaty because I've been working out throughout the day, which is something that I recommend for most magicians because, let's be fair, most magicians live a very secluded life. And when it comes to their fitness, it's not really in the top of their priority list. I believe Doritos is way above their list of priorities, more so than working on themselves. So today what I thought I'd do is go through a couple videos, a couple topics. I realized my notebook with my topics is far away. Usually I like to write stuff down. Believe it or not, there's a level of organization to this. Hungry and Hungover says, that was literally me. I'm a month of nicotine. Hardest thing I've had to do. Well, here's the thing about nicotine, right? I've heard from many vapists, as I like to call them, that it's extraordinarily hard to get off of. And then obviously, as somebody that's never partaken in any crazy narcotics, right? I don't know what it's like, but I do. Because caffeine, in some sense, is like that. But it's not the same. Nicotine is a little bit that nick hit. I've seen girls scratch at their neck waiting for the next opportunity to hit the vape. It's kind of gross, to be honest. There's nothing more unattractive than somebody who's just shaking, clamoring at the thought of a cigarette to quell their stress. Come on, be better. Let's see. I hope I get it right. Lucky number 7.
Be better. Be better.
Yes.
Be better. Be better.
I remembered my mnemonic of 7. 7 resembles the penis that Michelle is purported to have. Evening All says Stu Batman. Hello from the UK, says Mark Coward. I like that. Mark Coward, right? If anybody says, hey man, you're a coward, you go, yeah, that's me. You know what? I'm going to give myself. I know a lot about. Fuck. I'm going to give myself a car crash for that. I apologize. Satchel says flex. That's kind of weird, although we are living in 2022 where that sort of behavior is not seen as different or deviant or anything odd. So I'm not going to partake in that particular request. However, I do acknowledge your ability to ask another man to flex for you. I'm out of olive oil. Don't you dare pull out. It's the emptiest feeling ever to do that. I guess I'm in the same boat. I need to go do groceries, but every time I go do groceries, I want to throw myself off the nearest bridge just because the ridiculous price of dumb shit. Eggs. What? Why are eggs so expensive? There used to be like $2 for a pack of 24. $3. Not here, my friends. Here, you're getting this right here. You're getting this, the claw. As any fan of late 90s movie Liar Liar would remember, The Claw. That movie taught me how to curse. It's something that I've mentioned in live streams before. Watching Liar Liar and translating it between English and Spanish taught me how to curse in both languages. So I took that and used that and stole those bits for making middle schoolers laugh when I was in middle school. Essentially, all my bits growing up were stolen bits that I adapted. That's kind of the way I roll with things. Car crash deserved for that lame joke. I've heard all the jokes. I was also hanging out with people not so long ago that I've realized I've gone through my list of bits. I have a list of bits that I go through typically, right? And they've heard them all. So they just started listing them. They go, "Oh, what are you going to do that thing that you mentioned when you're upset about schools, right? Do that thing you're going to say you do when you say you're going to go to schools. Are you going to do that? Are you so upset you want to punch a puppy?" Right? I'm like, whoa, I've realized these are all bits that I go through, and I've expired most of them within my social group. The one that was quite humorous, if I do recall, I often say when I hear a song, usually it's a very aggressive song, usually sang by a person of color, I say, "This is my mom's wedding song," right? And somebody beat me to it. They said, "Hey, is this your mom's wedding song?" I go, what? I don't have any bits left. I don't have any bits of humor. All my jokes are gone. So I've realized that I have a limited amount of jokes that I tell. And unfortunately, I need to come up with new stuff. I need to work on new bits because they're getting old. I'm streaming here and on Twitch, by the way. I don't know if that means anything. I might stop streaming altogether on a daily basis. I feel like I've done a streak, right? I've done it, I believe, 4 days in a row. Tomorrow's the usual PigCast at 11 a.m. Eastern time, whatever that means for you UK, you Brits, you overseas dandies, I guess, for lack of a better term. But tomorrow I'm going to do it at 11, and then the rest of the days I'm going to attempt to do them back at 4 p.m. Eastern. Why? I don't know. It's just a thing that I'd set myself to do. I don't know what the point is. It's not really going to help in any way. It's not going to help on YouTube. It's not going to help with any sort of sense in promoting it. But it's a good attempt at something different in the channel. Try to stream every day. See if that's a possibility. It's fairly easy to do a video every day because there's unlimited topics to get through, right? But when it comes to a stream, it's a little bit different. It's a different sense of content, especially now where this seems to be the prevalent style of content among the youth. I wouldn't know. I feel as an old man, the youthful trends are passing me over, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I rather deal with other stuff, stuff that's in the real world, not knowing about what gamer is playing a fucking game. Oh, God. Joshua says, "PigCake, what's up?" That's because you got big jugs, says Paulie. Eggs are going up in price everywhere because there was a bird flu outbreak and all the farms had to cull millions of chickens. I don't know if that's millions or minions. That shows you how bad my eyesight is, that I can't determine if that says millions or minions. Maybe I should up my prescription for glasses. Mike says, "So yesterday you were thinking long and hard and often, but now you're going to call it working out. I can't keep up. I always like watching a challenge like this." Well, you like watching a challenge like this because you like the inevitable crash into Building 7 that's going to happen when I get tired of this. And I decide, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. This is a dumb thing to want to try. There's no incentive. There's no bonus. There's no... like, hey, here's a hard goal. It's just, hey, let me do this arbitrary thing for no reason. I've also decided, because it is a later stream, that it is appropriate to have a little bit of a mix here. A little bit of a mixer. Coke Zero, some rum. You know what it is, my friends. The name of this stream is called Magic Fail because I went down a rabbit hole, man. I went down a magic rabbit hole. I was trying to look up why this female that I mentioned in a couple streams ago, why she got bullied out of streaming, or not bullied out of not streaming, bullied out of making magic reviews, right? And I tried to go down the rabbit hole and look it up, and I couldn't find any information, so I gave up. But that was like an hour and a half rabbit hole, going down, looking at different forum posts, looking at videos, trying to figure out what it is that made this person stop posting, and I couldn't find anything. I found a bunch of accounts, but nothing. So I find this mystery. If you've been watching this mystery, it's pretty much a dumb one. It's a dumb one. It's an irrelevant one. But that put me down another rabbit hole, which is magic fail videos. Now, what I hate is that when you look that up, it's a very popular sort of trend on YouTube, right? A stream of watched content, magic fails. But it's all these dumb talent shows. It's never anything like, oh, it's a guy performing on the street. Here's him failing. It's always, oh, look at this person do this quirky bit on America's whatever the fuck Got Talent, which is always dumb because these shows are pretty much made and they're edited to make anyone look tardish. It could make somebody like Shin Lim look like no limbs. I'm gonna give myself a car crash on that. But it can make somebody like Shin Lim look like a complete goofball if they wanted to. Just a little bit of music and just a little bit of editing. So I don't trust those fails. Those fails could have been completely well done in performance, and then they just chopped it up and made it look bad. They cut to the audience so many times that you wonder when they actually shot those reactions. It could have been anywhere. It could have been 3 years prior. But then they inject those reactions and they make it look like the audience is not doing well. So I like looking at actual fails, like performance fails. The one that always comes up, which I don't want to show, but I'm sure everybody has seen, which is I'll show the thumbnail. Actually, I'll look up until it happens. But it's the smash and stab. If you're not familiar with this bit of virginity, it's when a person of low IQ puts a sharp object underneath a bag, or it could be under a cup, and then they have the audience mix up other ones. So they have only one that has the spike. Of course, they're blindfolded. They smash the ones that don't have the object, and then the one remains. So it's a feat of luck. It could be intuition. You could put it off in many different ways. But this idiot decides to do it with a participant, right? A person that's, I guess, part of the talk show, and he messed it up. It goes right through her hand. Now, I've seen this video, and I cringe every time. I'm not going to show it here, but I will show at least the context here. Magician fails spike. How dumb do you have to be? And also the haircut is also what upsets me the most about this dude. Let me see if I could smoothly transition here so you could kind of see the bits here. Look at this guy. He has I've never seen that haircut. I've never seen that haircut where it's that. You see that? It's bald apart from a ponytail. And homeboy out here decides to do the smash and stab routine, but he does it with what I think to be a real spike. A real spike. So this guy's an absolute moron. There's about 1,000 ways to do it where you don't actually have any risk, but this guy said, hey, this is my big spot. And now guess what? He has a short magician making fun of him for life. So this is the standard fail that you might see when you look it up. But I just hate that one because of the... Okay, for a second I thought I heard my mother outside. I was very worried there. Which would be weird because I don't live near her house. So as David Williamson said in his Penguin Live, laymen want to see you fail. That's why sucker tricks are so strong. Yes, they tend to be my favorite. If you're part of the PigCake Magic Academy, maybe I should drop a little show here. You would see that I'm a big fan of triumph routines and sucker tricks, because there's that little thing where you just hook the motherfucker in. You hook them in. They think you failed. And at the end, you go, ha, 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 ha. You didn't see that coming, did ya? I was in control the entire time. It's like that movie, Now You See Me. Right? Now You See Me, where you pull back and it's like, oh, you have to be steps ahead of the person. And then it ends up being that the bad guy that was pulling all the strings was 19 steps ahead of everyone, right? Which is a bad movie as it is. So I hate to use that as an example, but it's a good metaphor for a sucker trick. Hane says, want to see something fun, look up combat archery. It's dodgeball with bows and arrows. Just reading that reminds me of that bit where people have MMA, but they're in mind you, I'm completely glossing over what you said, but they're doing MMA in armor, which has to be the most inbred thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how this goes in the policy of Twitch and their violence, which, as has been proven, it's very, very thin, the line that you walk on. But here's what is astonishing to me. I guess dodgeball with arrows is interesting, but look at these guys. So these guys are doing mixed martial arts in full armor, in full medieval armor. You have to be on some part of the spectrum here. Like, you have to be. There's no bits about it, right? You're what, simulating combat between two what could be soldiers back in the fucking 1400s. Is this what's happening here? Right? And yet, look at this. That ref should have stopped about 1.5 years ago. And now he's like, hey, man, he's all good. Yeah, that was dumb. That was dumb. But that's what you reminded me of with that. Do you watch Serial Podcast? You know, it's like you read my mind. Somehow, it's like you read my mind because this is actually one of the things that I was looking at a little while ago. I wasn't looking at the Serial podcast, but I was looking at the fruits of its labor, right? I guess I'll skip to this, but this is one of the things that I was looking at where they released this dude, this homeboy. And I remember looking at this particular story from many years ago, right?
Fully participate in that hearing last week. Heyman Lee, of course, was murdered back.
Some context, right? This guy is the alleged murder of this individual, I believe, in 1999, maybe 1998. That was her ex-boyfriend. She had a boyfriend at the time. This was the ex. He is the murder. He's the murder. He did it. And then they let him out. And one of the reasons is in 2014, I believe that podcast did a ridiculous amount of views, 500 million, and it cast doubt on the legitimacy of the case. And they managed to somehow weave that. And I believe they got him out because the prosecution withheld evidence. But with that being said, the evidence is like, oh, the prosecution withheld evidence, but it's like you have a laundry list of things that this individual, simple things, can't explain. So I do recall seeing this and going down this rabbit hole because he just got out. They let him out. So after 2022, he's been in prison for maybe 20 years, and they let him out essentially on that particular clause. But I mean, he did it, man. He fucking did it, dude. And that's ties into what we were talking about yesterday, which is the whole crime bit, right? The whole crime bit, true crime. And this is what happens, unfortunately, when certain groups of people that tend to be more fans of crime inject emotion into things that should involve facts and, logic and not emotional thinking. Oh, he said he's innocent. Top notch. As a matter of fact, I remember I like the idea of, and I mentioned this in a stream maybe years ago, and I still recall it, that I mentioned that I love the idea of what they were doing with the Innocence Project, right? I like the idea of it. Certain people don't have a fair shot, so why not give them another shot? Try to, advocate for them. But then you end up looking at the list of people that they end up going for, this being one of them, a previous one being another one, a couple months back. And you start seeing a little pattern here. You start seeing a little bit of a trend when it comes to these cases that are a lot more emotion involved and not a lot of logical thinking, not a lot of facts behind the thought process of having these individuals released into back into society after overwhelming evidence that they did in fact commit the crimes, right? So I remember that, speaking of, and I found that to be extraordinarily hysterical. But this dude did it, man. Let me tell you, dog. This dude did it. There's no doubt about that. And homeboy got away with it, obviously after 21 years, but there's no other way. The evidence, what he was saying, the way that they found the said individual, everything points that it was this guy, and yet he's out on what is essentially they withheld evidence. But again, if you look at the rest of the evidence, it's kind of overwhelming. But it seems to, again, be a trend there, right? With these certain cases that you have like a special, because now there's also an HBO special on this. You'll have a Netflix special. You'll have a podcast. You'll have something that brings up the ire from people that listen and watch it. And then they start protesting and they say, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should look at this. And unfortunately, this is the byproduct of that when we have people that obviously committed crimes getting out. So it's funny that you mentioned the serial podcast, Pauly, because this was a direct cause of that. Obviously, it took a little bit longer. The podcast, I believe, came out in 2014. 500 million views on that podcast, or listens on that podcast. And then they started pushing. But I do love that one of the common trends of these sort of movements is the defendant claims that he's innocent. Okay, It's good. Good evidence. I'm glad that that's one of the things they hamper on. Hanker on? One of the things they hanker on when it comes to these style of cases is, wait a second, but the guy that did it, or the guy that's alleged to do it, he says he didn't do it. So maybe, I mean, why else would he say that? He didn't do it clearly if he's saying he didn't do it. Little leap in logic there. AIU had videos on 3 of their biggest cases before he got censored, which is a pun, right? Moved to censored TV. Not that I'm a subscriber to that website. Funny, right? I was going to say, I don't know what references I can make there. Maybe the bird, that is the bald eagle. Maybe that's a good reference there. But the Innocence Project, laughing my fucking ass off. I'm glad you had the tactical LMAFO there. Hungry and Hungover says, the way things are going a few years ago, I thought there would be a true crime documentary on The Butcher and you. That saga was like watching a horror movie. Well, I'm sure there's going to be a Netflix documentary about my life, but for other reasons that are probably going to manifest themselves, right? Like, oh, he always joked about it, right? That's the line that I want everyone to say. Dude, he always joked about it, and nobody thought that he would do it, but then he did it. That's what I want to happen, right? Like, that's my inevitable goal. Sweet 4 Ace production video today. Thank you. I appreciate that little fun bit, right? It's kind of a hard little production to do. These are shitty cards that I use as counters, by the way. I've mentioned that, but it's kind of a hard one to do initially. But I think it's a fun one. I think it's definitely fun. Those are always interesting to pepper in when you need a trick that involves, certain cards and you want to add them, as opposed to just going, here are the 4 aces. But of course, not to be too virgin-y, you got to think about that, because then at that point you're saying, hey, I'm really good when it comes to cards. By the way, sorry I'm moving around. My foot has fallen asleep and gets ants, the little ant feeling on it. Adnan for sure did it, but they screwed him in court, so he deserves a new trial. But I doubt they will take the case back to trial after all of this debacle, says Low Votes. Hey, man, good to see you here, dog. Good to see you here. I still see your jerky in my freezer, which I'm sure I can no longer consume at this point. But when I did consume it, it was quite tremendous. But yeah, that's the other part. That's the unfortunate part of that particular case, right? He did it. It's very clear. The evidence points in his direction. Every single bit, the cell phone records. There was another bit that was tremendous when I believe 80 members, I looked deep into the case, 80 members of the community said, hey, we're going to sign this document saying that we were with the individual and that he was with us praying, and then he went home or whatever. And then the cell phone records came out saying that he was in the park where they inevitably found her body. Look at that. Right there, just stirring the pot. So they said, no, we're good. We're not going to release that. We're not going to send that off to anyone. We're not going to stand by that particular claim. So there's a whole bunch of that. Let's see what this is. I'm getting messages. Oh, Manel. Let's see. Hopefully not a penis. No, okay. I see I'm a very... Is that me? Is that me as the Queen of Hearts? Or is that... Yeah, it is me. I could tell by my hairline underneath the hat. It's a very busty Queen of Hearts. So it's me with titties. Very progressive. Pig Sage. That's kind of dope. I like that. Right? That's kind of dope. Very progressive of you. I like the pig. Dude, my foot is really gone. Oh my goodness. My foot is completely demolished here. So it's me with titties. So very progressive of you. I appreciate that. I get accused a lot of being a person that is not a progressive individual. But I appreciate that, which makes me a progressive individual. So, you haters drinking your haterade. I watched episode 1 of Squid Game for the first time last night. Pretty good. You know what? That probably makes me believe that you definitely were not fibbing about your claim yesterday that you are in fact off of Oxy. That it took you this long to watch Squid Games. That's like, I always get, obviously when you do YouTube stuff, you get emails from companies trying to have you shill their shit, right? I get probably 6 emails every day shilling or having me shill some NFT thing, shilling some crypto game. Like I'm sure it's all scam stuff. But the one that I love the most is Netflix stuff. The Netflix, it'll be an email from somebody saying, hi, we're from Netflix. Netflix is a small company that started in 20 whatever. And what we do is that we provide a video service. So we have movies, we have TV shows, we have all these forms of content that people, and they're dissecting Netflix. It's like, yeah, I know what Netflix is. Like, you don't have to explain that. And then I go, oh, we'd like to use you to. It's like it's a scam. It's a scam. But I feel the same way with that, with you saying that you just watched Squid Games for the first time. Let me go back here. Sorry, I skipped one. Piggy, hit me up if you need more jerky. I'm making a batch this here weekend. Damn, son. Damn, son. That jerky was quite tremendous. I'm kind of a fan because it's a very, obviously the sodium tends to be a little bit higher, but the protein, right? If you get the right piece of meat, just 6 days clean, y'all. For all 10 months, I didn't give a fuck about anything. That oxy and pussy. Literally nothing else mattered. So yeah, that's what it is, man. I'm glad if that's the case. If you're not being facetious there, that's what it is. Although I did get a weird message. I didn't know if it was from you, but it seemed to be from your account. And I immediately thought that it was some sort of scammy thing. So I don't know if that's you or not. Maybe we'll figure it out. But I got a message from an account on Instagram. I don't know if that was you or not. Hungry and Hungover says, good for you, top notch. Lost a friend to that shit in 2020. Hope you stay clean. That's the worst part, right? Everyone knows someone that unfortunately went down that route and didn't come out. So it's always good when you come out of that better. That's how America was born. Stirring the pot, says Big Hands. With truly big hands. It's not just the name you give yourself. But speaking of big hands, this is, I guess, one of the reasons why I titled the video as I did, which is magician failure, right? This gave me douche chills watching this. I don't have my Insta account anymore. I have no idea who does. Okay. So, yeah, somebody on your Instagram said, let me see if it's deleted. Oh, okay. You know, it's funny. I was, Louis Laval, right? The hot mentalist. I guess that's how he should brand himself. I met him in England. Super sweet dude. But he had like a scam account that was trying to get at people with readings. And they put his pictures and they put his thing to try to make it look legit. And it's funny because the message this faker said was, Grand Rising, love. I read your name and felt a strong energy and connection. And it's using all these fucking emojis, you know, like it's almost as if you're trying, or you're getting a message from someone that you knew in high school that got into a pyramid scheme. It's the same sort of vibe here. What's your zodiac sign, love? And I go, bruh. And they said, I was drawn to you by my ancestors. Are you interested in getting a reading from me? And I just want to know, what part of the Middle East are you from? That's what I want to know, this particular individual. Where specifically are you from? But I did get a message from you here from an account, which is odd because it seems like it was your account. It's saying some shit for Venmo. So I'm like, yeah, great. Homeboy got hacked. Homeboy got hacked here, dude. That's the vibe. Yeah, good for you. That's hard to do. Hi, Piggy. Recently subbed to your Patreon. It's so good. Thanks. You're welcome. I'm glad. That's what I want to hear more of. Eventually, I want everyone in the planet to be a part of it. Selfishly, obviously, because it is a paid service. But at the same time, to better improve the scene. If everyone's a magician, then no one's special. That should be my goal. I want to make everyone in the planet a magician. Therefore, no one is special if everyone thinks that they're a magician. But this one is one that gave me douche chills watching. It's the standard broom levitation. I hate to say standard broom levitation, but you've seen this if you've been in magic for more than 4 seconds, right? And it's just the douche chills that watching this and knowing that he's doing it for an audience. Let's just go through it and see if we can make it. I'm sorry in advance. I'll have to mute that because I figure it's probably going to be some form of copyright infringement. He just took off one broom and now she's levitating. She seems very uncomfortable, right? And then he's going through the whole shtick, right? Hey, fucking move yourself like this. Make yourself smile. You know, all the standard bits when it comes to this routine. And then he goes, I have an idea. Watch this. Oh, I'm gonna bend you in a way that your body usually can't be bent. There's already, oof. You know what? I didn't catch that, but there's already some struggle in lifting her there, and I feel like he's kind of freaking out. Oh, see a struggle. Then he puts her up a little bit higher than normal, and now she stays there for no time whatsoever. So that seemed to be on the merits of her own core strength, which is very impressive, by the way. If you notice that, that's on the merit of her core strength, that she's just hanging on to that, because it seems like the apparatus is completely busted. But here's the worst part of this, right? You would think, oh, hey, haha, he failed. That's the worst part. No. It hasn't come yet. She does a face plant, almost reminiscent of Rey Mysterio. He does a little. This is not a. I'm not a. Whatever's going on here, right? If you guys know me, you know my regard for women, but it's a joke, right? But I'm not agreeing with this particular closeness. And he's whispering her, and then let's see what he says. Give her a round of applause. That's the worst part. That's the worst part right there. When he has to admit defeat and go, you know what? No, I'm sorry, guys. She just took a complete faceplant, and then she has to. Oh my God, poor thing. Dejected. She just has to go and clean up his fucking mess. Oh, let's see this in slow motion. So yeah, you're fucked here. I think her arm is hooked. So unfortunately, she has no sort of say on her face. She did protect herself as best she could. But what a terrible situation to find yourself in. My goodness, the douche chills that I got from that video. Luckily, you can't see. I mean, this is a 1080, so you could see all the pores in my body. Let's see this. Fail and big hands that close in a sentence suck. Honest question. On those World Star videos, are they saying he sleeped or he's saying he's sleeping when they get knocked out? You know, I haven't been a member of the hood for a while. I do live sort of hood adjacent, but I don't live near that hood. So I haven't seen that particular scenario in a while where I could tell you directly, oh, they're saying he's sleeping. But if I were to guess, I would say, let me try to put myself in that situation. Oh, shit. World Star. He slept. I think he slept. I think that's what it is. That makes me feel better. Then, oh, he's sleeping. Oh, he's sleeping. He slept makes me feel way better internally than he's sleeping. He slept is like past tense, right? It's like snew. Like, oh, I snew. And it really hurt my lungs when I snew. You know? So it's the same sort of thing. He slept. Yo, he slept. That's a better one. Not even slept, right? The enunciation of the END. That needs to be completely removed. So you're right, top notch there. With the he sleep, especially there's no sort of apostrophe there in the he's, right? So it's not he is. It's just he's. This is bordering on racism, but it's factual because there's evidence to show that this is in fact a statement said after one is quote unquote slept, right? Now, I used to go to a school that was fairly hoodie, but it was mostly fake hoodie, right? Because it was in the hood, but it was a school that was pretty hard to get into, which was kind of an odd section because they allowed, you know, the regional people to attend the school, but then also people from other parts joined the school. And it was kind of an interesting mix of things, right? So you did see situations like that. You did see the roll call, right? It's 7 a.m, and you would see the marching, right, throughout the hallway. Usually it's a line of 5 girls, and they would be, you know, stomping and clapping and doing all that bit, which was an interesting way of starting your school day. But I could tell you I don't miss that. Let's go through here. We Float Down Here says Monka. One True Villain says, One True Villain Top G says, is this live? Is this live? That reminds me of that. Are we live? From Penn and Teller back in the day. Unfortunately, it is live, right? Unfortunately, it is live. Again, I'm streaming concurrently on both just because, again, I feel like it's not going to really amount to anything. But why not give it a try? Why not give it a try? What am I doing an hour a day, right? I could give up one of the activities that I partake in an hour a day to provide content to the masses, and by the masses I mean not the masses, the opposite of that. Larry Isley says, I'd love to get a hold of whoever is in the QA department at YouTube for notifications. True, but at least you even got one, man. At least you got one. Most people don't seem to get them. And it's quite upsetting when you press all the fucking 19 buttons that you have to, and it still doesn't go through. But alas, my friends, I'm fighting an uphill battle, right? So I'm fighting one of these dudes that's trying to sleep me. He's trying to sleep me, and I'm fighting uphill. And I'm short enough as it is, so uphill is not really conducive to anything good. Hungry and Hungover says, when the game manager Whack 100 knocked out Miami rapper Stitches, the game kept saying he slept. That is a great video. Again, I don't know what necessarily is the policy on that sort of content, but I guess we're freeballing here. YouTube.com. Let's see if I could find that. Stitches is a very annoying Miami-based rapper with facial tats and just unemployable, essentially, is what he should get tattooed. Let me see. Stitches knocked out. I guess if it's on YouTube, it's okay. So the game rival rapper knocked out by games manager. New video TMZ. This is 6 years ago. I can't because I have to sign in order to watch it. But I guess I could show what Stitches looks like. And Stitches is just the most unfortunate combination of things in the planet. He does coke often on camera, right? And again, I'm not a judger of people who partake in drugs. Obviously, here in Miami, everybody's on something, right? Everybody's on something. However, it's not a cool thing to do it on camera and then to act rowdy. This is taking way too long to do this, but let me see if I could show. Okay, that's a good image to let you know, right? I don't think they're going to show anything. But this is the sort of character that's commonplace down here in the 305, right? And this was many, many years ago. I don't know if they're going to show the footage necessarily. I don't know if I can without getting something of a annoying message. But this is just the type of characters you're dealing with, right? I wouldn't say on the high end of anything. Definitely maybe high on the chromosomes, but low on the IQ. Especially if you're going to get a face tat, right? I'm not a fan of tats. I know, right? I get it, which is obviously why I decided on the tattoos that I've gotten. But if you're going to get a face tattoo, right? What's this? Is this like an intimidation thing, right? Because, if you go to jail, they're going to cut that, right? They're going to use that as a guide. So why would you do that to yourself, man? Obviously, I don't think thinking was part of the process of that particular decision making. Let me go back through here. Sorry. I got a video of a Korean magician hitting on a girl with magic, but he's cute. She's cute. That plastic surgery look. Again, you keep reminding me of things, right? One of the things that I saw was Henry Cavill, who's objectively an attractive man. I could say that as a heterosexual man who's only experimented twice with pinkies. That Henry Cavill, who played Superman, is a very attractive, objective man. Let's see, versus, what's the Korean dude? Korean? Let's see if I could find this. Apparently, I don't know what the legitimacy of this, because I would consider this part of stuff nobody should really care about, right? Because it's just irrelevant news. But it is funny, because it does give you an idea as to, the human thought. Right. And I believe, did not beat. So this is one of those fact checker websites, but I don't trust these either. I don't trust these fact checker websites either, because some of them it'll say something like, oh, somebody on Facebook mentioned that this thing, and then that'll be the claim, and then the actual the way that they will find it is that it's false, and then you look at why it's false, and then it'll say because it wasn't mentioned on Facebook, it was mentioned on fucking Twitter. But because it wasn't mentioned on Facebook, the claim is false. So, well, it's still claimed, it's still said, it was still done. So I don't trust these for that reason. But this was something percolating through the news, that they found this guy to be more handsome than this guy in some sort of list. Now, granted, even if this was fake, what wasn't fake was the response. And the responses that you would see on Instagram and on TikTok were overwhelmingly, homeboy here was said to be more attractive objectively, which I think, I don't know about you, but I have eyeballs, right? I have eyeballs, on my head. And you could see, I think even as a Korean, that this individual is obviously the more attractive one. And I'm not just saying that like, but everyone has different tastes. But just look at this guy. He looks like he came out of an apple. He looks like he will tell you facts about nature, right? Whereas this guy, although he does play online video games quite frequently, from my understanding, this is Mr. Take Your Bitch. This is Mr. Take Your Bitch. So I don't understand what the response was for that. Did you know that Americans pay for petrol before filling up their tank? Said we float down here on Twitch. Thank you for making me angry and recalling that particular bitch from the lives. Did you know that Americans pay for petrol? And then that woman with the fucking globs. My goodness, you're gonna judge anyone about anything. But I do recall that. That's what your message reminded me of. And objectively, you have to be somewhat deluded to think that the Korean man was more attractive. I got to watch Parasite now that I've watched Squid Game. Well, me being a connoisseur of horror movies, right? What does it say? This message is no longer... Oh, Manel. Okay, Manel's message is no longer viewable. That's what it was. Me looking as a very attractive Queen of Hearts. Thank you for that. Odd, but I do appreciate it. What was I gonna... There was something I was gonna look up. I do have a list of horror movies, and a lot of them are Korean horror movies. So I could give you a good recommendation of great movies that you could watch that are K-horrors, right? Although I wouldn't consider Parasite to be a horror movie, right? It's more of like not even a thriller, right? You could say it's a thriller movie. It's not really a horror movie. I don't think I even have it on my list. Although, to be fair, my list here, I would assume, or you would think, I have little notes. So me saying, oh, I have the name of the movie, I have little notes to remind me as to what the movie was and whether or not I like the movie. All of them are about hot people in the movie. So, for example, this last one was called Resurrection. And my note for it was, extraordinarily hot UK MILF with weird guy that makes her do things to hear her baby. That's what I wrote to myself, right? Extraordinarily hot UK MILF. So that reminds me. Oh, yeah, I remember what the movie's about. This other one before, No Exit. Hot Asian junkie. Gets stuck in a cabin. Rorschach. Low-budget horror movie with hot mom. So this is literally how I remind myself as to these movies. And they're mostly objectifying women. This one says hot lesbian daughter. Great ending. Tremendous acting. I don't know why. I wrote that to myself. Shit ending on The Medium. So this movie's called The Medium. And I said hottest Asian ever. But shit ending. So, I don't know. That's how I tend to write my notes down to remind myself of these movies. But I could recommend you some good Asian movies. Or horror movies. If Stitches started dropping magic videos, Illusionists would sign him to a 6-figure contract. Well, I've always made fun of Peter Turner's tattoos on his face, right? I've always made fun of the forever But even then, there's a uniformity, right? I'm not a fan of it. I think I would vote no on it. But there's at least some care, right? There's not a this thing right here. There's not one of these things. There's a rose, there's forever, there's an ankh, but this right here is, what are you doing to yourself? This is where you don't want to, I guess up here, I would never, but it's still, you could hide it with a hat, but here, it's the first thing you see. It's the first thing that you're going to judge the person for. Now, oh yeah, you should do whatever makes you happy. Okay, what if murdering people make me happy? Huh? Same logic. So it doesn't matter with that particular line of thinking. Let's see this one. What's the other one that I wanted to get into here? This is kind of an odd rabbit hole that I also found myself in. As you may know, I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok because TikTok happens to know exactly what to show me. They show me the right combination of thoughts and interesting, funny bits, and also now, as of late, recipes. So I've been partaking in those. This one is another thing that came up, and it's a guy that snuck a camera. And speaking of Korea, he didn't sneak a camera. He seems to have gotten approval for taking some stuff and pictures and video in North Korea. I don't trust this because if you look at the comments, a lot of the comments seem to be very positive as to North Korea, right? Which is odd. I don't know if here it might I might be completely disproving myself here, but when I was looking through, I did find a lot of comments that were like, wow, it looks beautiful. Wow, I want to go there. I would love to live there. Let me see if I could kind of show you. But this is an odd one because he's inside North Korea with my camera. Lower this. Right, and you have the standard North Korea bits. One of my favorite documentaries per se on this was from Vice back before. They would talk about the benefits of drinking semen. That's an article I think they came up with. But before that, they came up with good stuff. And one of them was their trip to North Korea. And it's one that I would watch. I might watch it after this, as a matter of fact, just as a rekindling of that particular documentary as to how good it was. And they would show how completely fake everything is in North Korea, and how ridiculous and out of their way they go to portray it to people that, no, it's normal. We're doing good things. And let me see if I can go to this guy's account because he also seems to be very overwhelmingly positive about North Korea. Inside, let's see this one, right? So this one is going through and showing some videos of North Korea, some of the life there, some people on scooters and bicycles. Bro, yeah, I want to live there happily and without... Oh, you can't see it. I'm an absolute idiot. Let me see if I could close this. I said that I was going to fix this before. Right, there you go. Lowering myself. But you could see this, right? This one that says here, I want to live there happily without any influence of Western and USA. And I saw that a lot. I saw that sort of stuff a lot. Now, obviously, you're going to see a lot more comments that are negative about it, but I did see more than I was comfortable with as to pro-North Korean stuff. And what I find funny about North Korea is that, well, Penn Jillette, I think, gave one of the best bits of advice when it came to traveling, which is never go anywhere where money doesn't matter, right? Don't go deep in an African jungle. You think your money's going to matter there? No, right? Don't go deep into the Everglades because what do you think? The bugs care? Don't go to North Korea. I believe a guy got his brain. I was going to, with the ebonics of earlier, got surgeryed on. That's what I was about to say. A guy got his brain surgeryed on. He got slept because he stole a poster. And he was American, and there was a whole thing about that. Look at this one, right? So sad for these people. And then he responds saying, well, these people are the top elite living in the capital, Pyongyang, so it's not that bad. What? So I don't know what his end game is here, but he's obviously trying to portray North Korea as a lot more positive than it actually is, which is a little bit odd. He seems to be a Latin American dude. So it's kind of odd there. But I fell down this rabbit hole. right? Showing, I guess, some cultural stuff. What I love about North Korea is that they're stuck essentially in 1955 Russia. That's kind of the vibe. Look at this one here. I've been to North Korea 5 years ago as a guest from my dear friend in North Korea. Right? Kind of an odd sort of bit. It was a very good experience. Local were friendly and smiled. I was a guest of their country. Would love to go back. I don't know anybody that would be that would actually have that mentality. Unless it's like, oh yeah, North Korea is amazing. I love North Korea. And you see the gat there. I would procreate with his sister though, and I heard that she's worse than he is in terms of their evil, which is kind of humorous because she looks like a standard Korean woman, right? I like that. I like that look. And from what I've gathered from the bits, she's worse. She's way worse than he is. So I just found that was a rabbit hole that I went down as to North Korea. More like Kim Jong-il. I'm going to pin that. That's a good one. That's a good one, Sean P. I'm going to give you the pin of honor, not the pin of shame. Luckily, we haven't had the need for a pin of shame. We flow down here says a bunch of trolls. Now, here's the thing, right? On TikTok, I have noticed this, that there's it's like an organized effort of trolling. And you would think it wouldn't work because it's so prevalent. No, it works. It works because it's always people that manage to just incite, just gaslight, just throw a little bit of fuel on the fire. Throw a little bit of fire on the fuel. And it works because you see these threads of 100 comments back and forth, and you realize if you click on the person's account, their bio says, I got you upset with a comment, didn't I? Right? Hey, man, why are you so pressed over a comment, knowing that you would look at their account? So it's an organized effort, I feel, but it's also probably bored 14-year-olds. Mike says, fake account on TikTok promoting North Korea. Next, you're going to tell me there's fake accounts on Twitter, too. That's funny. I mean, that was a whole thing, right? With that, I believe Elon Musk, with the whole Twitter acquisition as to them proving that they've purged the bots from their platform, and it's still not prevalent. Again, I'm talking directly out of my butthole here, but it's funny that a lot of the accounts that have millions and millions of followers are like 40% bots, 50% bots. So it's an interesting thing that he was trying to prove there. Top Notch says psychological thriller. I guess you're talking about Parasite. Are you going to watch the Hellraiser reboot? Not sure. Not sure. I know that there were a couple movies that I was interested in watching, but I don't know. I only go and watch movies when it's pretty much forced on me. Like, hey, we're going to go. Would like for you to come. I'm like, all right, I'll go. But to get invested in fiction series, not a huge fan of that. To have to follow stuff and, oh, hey, watch this movie or watch this thing. I'm not a huge fan of that particular aspect of it. So Hellraiser, I don't think I watched that. I don't know if I watched the original ones. Forget Hellraiser. How about the Winnie the Pooh reboot? Yeah, that's another one, right? Odd. We've come to the full circle of movie making and ideas. Everything has become oversaturated. We're just remaking stuff, right? Disney in particular are taking your childhood memories, your beautiful memories that you had watching Aladdin, right? Aladdin was a bad example because the remake of that was okay, and it was only okay because the woman playing Jasmine was a 10 out of 10. I don't say that very lightly. 10s are not something you just throw out. 10 is a gift, and she's a 10. She's in the movie. She made it worth it. But the rest of the movies are garbage. All these remakes. You're going to have Beauty and the Beast, right? The cinematic masterpiece for 1994, I believe. They have a crane shot in a movie. A crane shot in an animated movie in 1994. Do you know how difficult that is to do? And they had it in that ballroom scene where it looks like this camera's on a gimbal, and yet it's a fucking animated. It's an animated movie in 1994. You try to boot a computer in 1994 and tell me how that works for you. I'll wait, right? And they made this whole beautiful animation, and then you recast it with Emma Watson playing a French woman. What? What's going on? Well, like, what's happening here? So, no, oh shit. Let's see this one. Thanks. What's going on? PigCake. Not much. Doing live streams every day. Right. I just, by the way, I held this with 2 hands, and I've never felt more like thinking, whoa, why are black guys suddenly hotter? That's weird. I don't know why. Holding a cup with 2 hands makes me suddenly want to partake in lovemaking with black men. But I've also come to realize that commercials, every commercial that has a woman holding a cup with 2 hands, makes me want to do stuff to a local mall. Right? Just what's this? What, you could do this perfectly fine. You could do what's the necessity of this? Is it a warm cup? By putting your hands on it, you're making it warmer, and you're not burning your hands. So what's the point of this? Look at this. Look at the efficiency of this. Right? I could do anything with. I could start a war right now with this. I could have a glass in my hand. I could fight somebody. But this, what's this? A waste of time. And you see this in all these commercials and all these things like, oh, enjoy a cup of whatever. What? Okay. Odd. Hey, what's your go-to card trick if somebody pushes a deck in your hands and says do something? Depends. I find myself, I don't perform as often, but I find myself doing this bit where you have somebody think of a card, right? And you peek at it. Or you don't necessarily have to peek at it, but you do this little spread peek bit, and you control it to the bottom of the deck, right? So it's on the bottom of the deck. And then you turn to somebody else and you go, hey, how well do you know this person? And they might say, oh, I've known them forever. And you go, great, we're going to test your connection here, right? I'm going to spread these cards like this, and I want you to see the cards. And what I want you to do, and you grab them in the shoulder like this, because this is what they're looking at. They're looking at a blank deck, right? Apart from the bottom card that you controlled, which is the card they're thinking of. So you go, I want you to think of a card that you could see, right? You got one? Perfect. Don't say anything out loud, right? And now you could do whatever you want with this card. This card's at the bottom. You could control it to the top. You could do whatever you want, but you force the card on both of them. This one is thinking of the card, and this one had this apparent free selection of a card, but you forced it using that blank deck force. And you go, I want you to look at their eyes and tell them for the first time what card you think they're thinking of. And, you know, they, of course, nail it. And because you have control over the card, at this point, you could fool, because this thing might be a little bit iffy for some people to want to get away with, because you are using, you know, a classic method of an instant stooge there, because they're just looking at a blank deck apart from one card. So if you want, you could do something like an any card, any number. Like, all right, so you obviously, you guys have a good connection with each other. How about let's test your connection with the playing cards, right? Let's test the connection with the playing cards, or even turn it into some sort of A-can or something like that. That's what I would find myself if somebody said, hey, do something. 2 hands, hide your shaking from the That's great. Yeah, you're right. You are right. TikTok started the, let me see, this is how fucking blind I am. TikTok started the chair movement, basically choosing an arbitrary emote to replace the skull and bones to represent dying from laughter. Comment section would be littered with chairs. I do love that sort of concept, by the way, of we're going to replace this with this so that this now represents that. That seems to be something very common nowadays. Like, no, wait a second. You can't put that there because that represents this thing. And you go, oh, okay. So I can't even put this there without offending someone. Great. Tremendous. This is the world I want to live in. Stu Batman says, talking on Magic Failure, what do you think of Siegfried and Joy videos? I have no idea what those are. But you know what? Because this is a platform that involves video, guess what, my friend? I could look at that. Siegfried, you said Siegfried. I'm still trying to find out what happened to the magic kit, right? There's something I mentioned a couple streams ago, Siegfried and Joy. It's a magician that reviewed stuff. And apparently, according to a comment that was subsequently deleted immediately, they they said that she was bullied out of doing magic reviews by a magic reviewer, and I want to know who the reviewer was. Maybe make a video on that. I gotta get back to work. Stay gold. Tell Daniel, Caesar, your brother. Yeah, let's just name everyone, name drop everyone there. I say hello. I'll tell all of them. I'm glad you remember. That lets me know. What do you think of Siegfried and Joy videos? Yeah, I looked it up. I don't know what that is here. Maybe it's on TikTok. Let me check my pink iPhone. Not sus. right? I own it. Let's see if maybe you're talking about Siegfried and Joy. I Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh yeah, so these are the dudes that do that bits where they'll make a bus appear, but they just put a blanket over the frame of the camera, or they'll make themselves disappear. It's fun stuff, right? It's fun stuff. It's nothing too serious. That's kind of what I like, right? You do have they do show just people are too far up their own ass, right? When you're in a social situation, I do get it, right? Sometimes maybe you're in an argument with a significant other, you don't want to deal with other people, or maybe you have something in mind that you're like, oh man, fuck, this is really stressing me out, whatever. And somebody does something, somebody might come and want something from you. You don't want to deal with that. But you see two guys, you see a camera, right? You see a camera, and they're doing this fun bit. They're dressed in the standard magician garb. Don't be an asshole. Like, no, whatever, dude. They're just trying to have some fun, trying to make some people smile. But you have a lot of people in the videos that are just like off-putting and cuntish, and you're like, all right, you know what? Maybe you deserve COVID. But Instagram, yeah, I found him on TikTok. Let me go back here. Sorry, I know I skipped through some comments. I don't want to skip through some comments. You need to drop some live shows in the evening. I might do that. Maybe Thursday. Depends on the day. I might drop. That's the worst part, right? Because it depends on my stuff I'm doing that day, and I might have some adult responsibilities. Believe it or not, your boy does have some things that I have to take care of, right? And then the stream might fall with that. So I might do tomorrow. Obviously, I'm doing a live stream at 11, which the standard PigCast, and then the rest of those I'm gonna try doing either 4, maybe 6. Who knows? Maybe have a late night one. But wait, what's this?
I know a lot about you, like why you're watching this ad, and it's specifically because you've looked up magic tricks. Well, hey there, my name's PigCake, and I've been doing magic trick tutorials on YouTube for the better part of 6 years. And I'm here to tell you about the PigCake Magic Academy with over 1,200 videos already uploaded, designed to make you an expert magician. You get access to all the content the moment you sign up, and I'm uploading every single week. As a matter of fact, I uploaded a video today. Just look at that list of moves, tricks, ideas that you're gonna get access to the moment you sign up. It doesn't end. As a matter of fact, I could stop talking completely, and the list is still gonna keep going. Just look. So check it out, the PigCake Magic Academy. The link is going to be below. I go with you, but I'm stuck in this video. But I'll wait for you to go ahead and click it. Go ahead, you know you want to.
Whoa, crazy stuff, right? I don't know where that came from. I don't know where in particular that came from. Makes you wonder, right? Oh, join the PigCake Magic Academy. Join it. 1,000 videos. What are you doing to yourself? Right? You're missing out. You want to wonder, hey, how can I learn some stuff? Where do I post the most? I post the most on the Academy. I post the most on the Academy. And people might say, well, PigCake, you've changed. I've realized, I'm spending so much time, right, thinking about magic, putting all these videos. If I put it behind a $5 paywall, I don't think that's that bad and that much to ask for. So it's the Academy. Check it out. Production value on point. Yeah, getting Daniel to record that. Was also another can of worms. Is that pig tattoo real? Yeah, right. It's Manel designed it. Manel, who I don't know if you're still here. I said, hey man, I got a favor. If you could do this, I'd greatly appreciate it. I have a pig. I want to do a pig tattoo with a pig tattoo, right? So could you quickly do something? And he did it. And then that day, I think an hour later, I got the tattoo. I didn't realize how big it was going to be. But alas, I do like it the most. I like it better than the other ones. But I don't know. I don't know if to get a cake one. Honestly, I don't think I care enough about cake. I know the channel is PigCake, right? But I don't like cake. I'm not a huge fan of cake. I prefer cookies. But Pig Cookie is not really a fun name for a channel, right? But I know that I want to get the. Actually, I know the next tattoo. The next tattoo is definitely going to be. It's going to be the same tattoo. So I'm going to get maybe the same tattoo there. So if somebody says, hey, here's, or I go, oh, that's a pretty cool tattoo. It might be terrible if I'm the one that brings it up. But if they talk about their tattoo, I could say, oh, I have the same tattoo. Isn't that crazy? And then show the same tattoo. the pig could get a cake tattoo. That's what I was thinking too, because there is a lot of space on the pig, right? So here's my tardness, and what I realize in hindsight I should have done. I should have gotten the pig, right? And instead of it saying pig tattoo, it should have said cake tattoo. But alas, I don't care about cake that much. So I don't really care about that. I'd rather just get the pig and deal with it. And especially the pig that has a pig tattoo. The pig, yeah, okay, I read that one. On the academy, do you teach any card tricks with gaffs or gimmicks? You know what's funny that you mentioned that? I was looking at my hard drive, and me and Daniel, we're going to do this project together where we go over 3 decks, right? And we're going to sell the decks in part with this project that was going to be on a stripper deck, a Svengali deck, and an invisible deck. And I was looking through my hard drive, and I shot the entirety of the Svengali deck one. Like, shot it entirely with the intro. This was, what, 2018, 19 maybe? And I have it there. Just the project that I never released on the Svengali deck. And I had a bunch of good ideas with the Svengali deck outside of the regular conventional stuff. Same thing with the stripper deck. I do recall with the stripper deck, I shot some explanations, but I don't think I shot the performances. And the invisible deck was maybe in limbo, but we had a project that we're going to do with that. And even designs, I think I had designs. Daniel had his nephew make some designs for it, like a pig, invisible pig, a stripper pig, like, and all that stuff. But I have it there. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But now that you mentioned that, it was funny. But I don't know. But I do recall having a back and forth on that. The Svengali one is complete, though. I do remember that. The stripper did need some stuff. But the Svengali one, I was going through it, and it's funny because it was when I was handicapped, so I'm limping all over the place. So that's the other part, and I wasn't showing my face. So take that as you would. But I do have that there. I don't know if they put that on the Academy. I'll ask Daniel. But is it all regular deck stuff? It is regular deck stuff for the most part. I do go over some gaps, but I mean, obviously that's down to pipeline in terms of stuff. I don't want to completely dismiss the notion, but I do want to have it more so be towards the idea of deck, things that are accessible, coins, thumb tip. I do have a lesson on that. So things that are accessible. So I don't have, for example, a lesson on flipper coins. I have ideas and good stuff to teach with flipper coins and expanded shell and stuff like that, but I haven't put them, right? I might later on, but to me, I do, at least for the time being, want to go through at least stuff that I find interesting. That's what I mentioned before. I want to put everything that I know on that. I want to put everything that I know on that bitch. So we'll see where that goes. But so far, it's been great. So far, I'm happy with it. I just wish I could get more eyes on it. Silliest tattoo I have is no entry on my butt cheek. That's kind of homophobic, right? I would argue. A little bit of that phobe there. Yeah, a little apprehensive. A little of that phobicness. But you know what? It's your prerogative. But that's a good one. I like that. But personally, I don't think I could get a tattoo unless it says tattoo on it, because I want it to be referential to itself, right? So small tattoo, smaller tattoo, meaningful tattoo, another tattoo, real tattoo, pig with a pig tattoo. So they all kind of have to have that. The only one that I don't have that is the first one that I got, which is virgin, #virgin on my ankle, along with Nathan Lindsay and Peter Turner in England, which is not a big deal for them, but it was a big deal for me because it was my first tattoo. And you could see that video, I believe, on his channel, Nathan Lindley. I keep saying Lindsay, but Lindley. And he had a nice little vlog where you get to see me pretty hammered going down the list. I'm glad that he edited that, because I did say some pretty iffy stuff on camera, and I'm glad that he chopped it down and didn't include those parts, right? Let me go through here. Sorry. Production value on point. Best commercial ever, right? I was gonna get some ads made with those commercials, like pay for ads, but then taxes came up, and I realized, whoa, okay, great, good to know. that paying for my taxes has essentially left me with my bum hole like this, right? Very loose bum hole. We go through here. Hope you're okay. Those storms look pretty bad. Yeah, they were all right here. As I mentioned before, they weren't too bad in Miami, but I'm sure we're getting it. I'm sure we're getting our comeuppance soon enough when it comes to our hurricanes. But you know, I think that's the stream for today, my friends. I think that's it. Join me tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time for a standard PigCast, right? I'm trying to stream every day. That's my goal. I'm trying to do a stream every single day about different topics, different things. The timing, 4 p.m. Eastern time is when I'm doing these generally. That might fluctuate, but I think for the time, that's what I'm sticking to. And also tomorrow, 11 a.m. because it's Wednesday, and that's when I typically did the PigCast. But it's PigCast October. I don't even know what clever name to give it, but there's no really clever. I know there's Sober October, but I'm definitely not doing Sober October. But that is the stream. I don't know what advice as well to give you guys at the end. Let me see what I could tell you here. Man, let's see. I know usually I like to give some advice. Oh, these are great. Okay. So this is something that I got a little while ago because I shed hair like nobody's business. Right? I shed hair like nobody's business. I have long hair. My hairline goes to the crack of my ass, but at least the rest of it is long and it sheds often. So I grab one of these and I rub it on the carpet. So you put it on, right? And you put it on all the problematic areas. These are used for pets, where you pet them and then you get all their hairs here. I use it to remove hair from the carpet. So I just start like this and I remove it. So if you're somebody that has carpets, which I recommend, right? These aren't the softest carpets. I want to upgrade the softer carpets because when you put somebody's face on it, you want to make sure that they have something that's not a cold, hard floor. Or if somebody puts your face on it because you're progressive. So I recommend this. It has two sides, right? This is for I guess more delicate hair, but this one is a fun one too. So this is something I recommend if you have long hair. So like me, long, illustrious, flowing, thick manes of hair. Apart from that, Nancy Pelosi, insider trading.